Imagine you wake up tomorrow and realize everything you believed yesterday might be wrong. Maybe your memories were false, maybe your senses deceived you, maybe you're dreaming right now. How do you know anything at all? This is the starting point of epistemology, the branch of philosophy that asks, what is knowledge and how can we be sure we have it? The term epistemology comes from the Greek words episteme and logos. Episteme can be translated as knowledge or understanding, and logos can be translated as argument or reason. So, epistemology is the study of knowledge, and epistemologists concern themselves with a number of tasks which we might sort into two categories. First, we must determine the nature of knowledge. That is, what does it mean to say that someone knows or fails to know something? This is the matter of understanding what knowledge is and how to distinguish between cases in which someone knows something and cases in which someone doesn't know something. While there is some general agreement on certain aspects of this issue, we will see that this question is much more complex than one might imagine. Second, we must determine the extent of human knowledge. That is, how much we or can we know? How can we use our reason or our senses, the testimony of others, and other resources to acquire knowledge? Are there limits to what we can know? For instance, do we have something unknowable? Or is it possible that we do not know nearly as much as we think we do? Should we have a legitimate worry about skepticism, the view that we don't know or cannot know anything at all? Okay, how do we know what we know and can we be sure of it? It explores different ways of humans try to gain knowledge and whether true certainty is even possible. Two main ways of knowing. One is empiricism, which means knowledge comes from the senses. For example, you know it's raining because you can feel it and you can see the rain. This view suggests that the mind is a blank slate and experience fills it up. It's about learning after experience, called a posteriori. The second one is rationalism, which means knowledge comes from reason. Because, for example, you know 2 + 2 = 4. Not because you saw it or you feel it, but because your mind can figure it out. It says we're born with innate ideas, built-in knowledge. So it's about learning through thoughts before experience, which is called a priori. Okay, but what about skepticism? Skepticism means doubting what people claim to know. We have 3 forms of skepticism. Everyday skepticism. For example, you doubt things sometimes, which is really healthy and normal. Scientific skepticism. You test and question claims, like doing experiments. And the third one, absolute skepticism. the belief that nothing can be truly known. For example, Pyrrho, an ancient philosopher, he said we should suspend judgment about all things because knowledge is impossible and our senses are unreliable. He said that every argument cancels out its opposite. But it's interesting. If someone says nothing can be known, how can they know that? So it seems self-contradictory. Let's try this. When I'm saying that the sentence in the box is false, if that sentence is false, then it's true. But if it's true, then it must be false. So this kind of puzzle shows how hard it can be to find certainty in logic and truth. Imagine searching everywhere for truth through your senses, your reason, and your doubts, and still feeling something is missing. Okay, now Sufism can come to the picture. Sufism begins where ordinary knowledge ends, with the longing to know God directly. Sufism and mystical knowledge. What's that? Sufism is a mystical, spiritual dimension of Islam, emphasizing a personal, direct relationship with God through inner purification, devotion, and spiritual practices like poetry or dance. Al-Ghazali was a Sufist thinker and practitioner, but also please remember that he also was a jurist and philosopher. Al-Ghazali wasn't satisfied with senses, reason, or doubt. He wanted to know something deeper, really deeper, the divine, God. So he turned to Sufism, which focuses on mystical experience, a direct and personal feeling of God's presence. He believed this kind of experience could give knowledge that reason and senses can't provide at all. But not everyone agreed. For example, Averroes, another Islamic philosopher, he argued that reason and science are enough to know the truth. No need for mystical experience. Okay. So, we saw that people, philosophers, and thinkers try to know things in different ways through experience, through reason, doubts, spiritual insights. And each method has its limits, and none can answer every question. So, the only thing that we can do is that we should stay curious, open-minded, and thoughtful about what we claim to know.